Good morning. So, welcome to our English Maritime course for our day 2 on our week 42. So, this is your instructor, Elaine, and we will tackle about the key medical terminology and the systems in the injuries. So, the key medical terminology in the maritime industry uses the standard medical language but focuses on the conditions and injuries relevant to the unique environment at the sea. So, the seafarers are trained to use a common vocabulary, often referencing guides like the International Medical Guide for the seafarers and the fishers. So they're using this to communicate effectively with the telemedical maritime assistance services, or what we call the TMAS. So we have here some terms. Like here, I have here the word trauma. So I have first the trauma. So this is the general medical term for a physical injury of a sudden onset and severity that injures, that requires the immediate medical attention. There's also hyperthermia. So this is the medical emergency that occurs when the body's temperature drops below the normal and a significant risk in a cold water immersions. So again, hypothermia, meaning body's temperature drops. And then the word drowning or near drowning. So this is the process of experiencing the respiratory impairment from submersion or immersions in the liquid. Another word is what we call the evacuation or med evac. So this is the process of a medically removing a patient from the ship to a shore-based hospital or facility for definitive care. So again, we have the trauma, hypothermia, drowning, and evacuation. So I have here also some the another general medical and emergency terminology. We have here the ABCDE assessment. So this is the systematic approach to access a sick or injured patient. So ABCDE stands for the airway, airway, breathing, circulation, disability, and exposure or the environment. And then we have here the word CPR or the cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So this is the emergency procedure to manually maintain the breathing and circulations for a person whose heart has stopped or who has stopped breathing. We also have here the word hemorrhage. So this is the medical term for a severe bleeding. And then the last word is the word shock. So this is the circulatory collapse. So this is a life-threatening condition that occurs when the body is not getting enough blood flow. So here we have here some relevant the body system. So first, I have here what we call the musculoskeletal system. So this is pertain to a injuries of bones, joints, muscles, ligaments, and soft tissues which are common due to the physical labor and unstable conditions on a vessel. So next we have the neurological system. So this is related to the brain, spinal cord, so this part, and nerves. So it could be some the head trauma, the concussions, or spinal cord injuries. So next one is what we call the respiratory system. So this one, it involves in the breathing and affect by issues like the respiratory infections or any chemical exposure. So, for example, if there's a abscessosis, hydrogen sulfide, or poisoning. So, anything regarding or anything that related to the breathing or the lungs. So next one is what we call the gastrointestinal system. So this one, it involves indigestion or abnormal pain or abdominal pain is the common complaint at the Z. So it all about regarding the digestion. And then we also have the integumentary system. So this one, it refers to the skin and includes issues such as burns, rashes, bites, stings, and pressure injuries. So again, I have here the gastrointestinal, meaning about the digestion, and then the integumentary system is about the skin. So next, I have now the common maritime injuries and conditions. So first one is what we call the fractures. So as we all know, this is the complete or incomplete break in a bone. So that's why it called fractures. And then we have here the sprains or the torn ligaments. So we know this as a sprain. So this is the injuries to the ligaments, the tough band or fibrous, a tissue that connect the bones. And then we also have the head trauma or the concussion. So this is the injury to the head part, which can range from a minor bump to a traumatic brain injury. Then the next word that we have is what we call the burns. So this is also common words. So this is the tissue damage caused by heat, chemicals, electricity, or radiation. So this is a risk with the ship, machinery, and operations. Then we have here now the toxic chemical exposure. So this is the illness or injury resulting from a contact with a hazardous materials. So like the diesel oil, um, abs- asbestos, or the industry gases. And then this one, another one is what we call the seasickness. And then this is the motion sickness specific to being on a vessel, which can range from a mild discomfort to a severe vomiting. And lastly, I have here what we call the acute abdominal pain. So this is the severe or sudden onset pain in the abdomen that often requires an urgent medical attention. So again, I have here some important things to remember. So first is the skeletal. So it's regarding the bone, the joints, spines, and fracture. We also have the muscular, so meaning it's about the muscles, ligaments, tendons, and the sprain and strain. We also have here the circulatory, which means it's about the heart, the blood, the pulse, or any bleeding or shock. And then lastly is the respiratory. So this is all about the breathing, the lungs, choking, or anything that inhalation. So again, we have the skeletal, muscular, circulatory, and then lastly, the respiratory. So here, so in the maritime industry, the most relevant type of pain is the musculoskeletal pain or about the muscle. So they often describe as a dull ache or sharp stabbing pain. It depends on the injury. And most of the frequent report is in their lower back, shoulders, neck, or the hand or wrist. So uh, this pain stem from the damaging or demanding the physical labor awkward postures and the inheritance or inherent the hazards of the job. So here I have mostly here or some doctors or nurses, they're using this scale. So they can identify easily how the pain or how is the level of the pain of one person. So I have here some common pain locations and associated cause. So here, as I said earlier, the lower back. So mostly this is a dull ache, chronic pain, sharp pain. So this one, it can be caused by a frequently heavy lifting or carrying, bending forward, working in an awkward posture, and whole body vibration from the machinery. And then the next one is about the shoulders. So this is the repeated overhead work. So lifting heavy loads, pulling heavy nets, ropes, and over exertions. So it can be a dull ache as well, or like a stabbing pain. So this is how they describe those pains. And next is the neck. So this is mostly the tensions, the strains, the stiffness, or the sharp pain. So this is caused by a prolonged, restricted, or awkward postures. Then the next one is about the hands or the wrist. So this usually a numbness, tingling, burning sensation, or the dull aches or some pains. And then we have a repetitive, this can be a caused by a repetitive motions, strong gripping, use of vibrating tools, and then some constant contact with a cold or ice. So we also have here some knees or lower leg. So this one, it is a joint pain or sharp pain. So it can be caused by a squatting, lifting, bending or slips, strips falls on a slippery or uneven deck. Then I also have here the head. So this is usually a traumatic injury pain or concussions. So this one, it can be caused by the slips also, trips, and falls are leading cause of the head injury and being stuck by a moving cargo or the equipment. And lastly, we have what we call the limbs. So this one, it has the intense pain because this is usually some fractures, crush injuries. So it can be unbearable pain. So this accident could be caused involving some heavy machinery, winches, cranes, or being caught between some objects. So pain can be this description in the maritime context. They often relates directly to the activity and the injury or injury's nature. So for this, I have some chronic and some persistent ache. So this is a typically points to work-related a musculoskeletal disorders. So this is from cumulative strain, repetitions, or the poor ergonomics. We also have here some sudden, sharp, or stabbing pain. And then we have here what we call the sudden sharp or stabbing pain. So this one, it indicates an acute injury such as sprain, strain, fracture, or disc herniation that often resulting from an accident like a spill or fall or an impact. Then we have the next word here, what we call the burning sensation or numbness or tingling. So this is the system that often suggests the nerve involvement, such as the carpal tunnel syndrome or referred pain from a spinal issue. And then we have what we call the troubling plane. So this can be the sign of inflammation like tendonitis and bursitis in the shoulders. So the pain also in the maritime industry, it can also refers to a significant like a physical, mental, and operational challenges that faced by our seafarers and companies alike. So first here that we have is about the mental or the emotional health. So the isolation and loneliness. So the seafarers, they are spend months away from their family and friends. So by this, it will lead to a homesickness, loneliness, anxiety, and depression. And then we have here the stress and fatigue. So this is the long, irregular walking hours, disrupted sleep patterns, high job demands, and some pressures that contributes to a chronic fatigue and high stress levels. And then we have here the interpersonal conflicts. So this is the confined living and working space with a multicultural crews that can lead to a strained relationships, team conflicts, bullying, and harassments. And then we have what we call the lack of support. So the seafarers, they often feel a lack of managerial and emotional support and mental issues that can carry a stigma by making them a reluctant to seek help. And then we also have here a physical health and safety. So this one, we have what we call the dangerous work conditions. So the job that involves the inherent risk, including the heavy machinery, slippery surfaces, unpredictable weather, and the potential for a serious accident, injuries, and fatalities. And then we have here the limited healthcare access. So the onboard medical facilities are basic and access to advanced medical care or emergency evacuation that can be difficult and delayed in a remote areas. And then we have the poor living conditions. So this is the issues like a low quality food, constant noise and vibrations, and inadequate recreational facilities. So this one, it contributes to a lower quality of life on board. And lastly, we have the piracy and security threats. So navigating through the high-risk areas, there poses a constant threat of a piracy and armed robbery, causing a significant fear and anxiety. So we have also here some key points for the industrial and the company. So this one, it is the workforce retentions and recruitments. So the harsh realities of the job can lead to a high turnover rates, creating to a challenge for a companies to recruit and retain a competent workforce. Then we have the regulatory compliance. So this is the new environmental and safety regulations. So this is required a significant investment in technology and training and putting a financial strain on a businesses. So for example of this is decarbonization's efforts. And we also have some the operational inefficiencies and human errors. So fatigue and poor mental health among seafarers increase the likelihood of accident and operational errors. So which can result as significant financial losses, damage, and pollutions. Then we have here some supply chain disruptions. So meaning that the events like the COVID-19 pandemic and associated with the crew change crisis, this is highlighted the vulnerability of the global supply chain and the well-being of the seafarers. And then lastly, the criminologic And then this is the some incidents that the seafarers face a criminal prosecution or legal action for accidents that occurring during their duties, which impacts a moral and which impacts the morale and the retentions. So addressing these pains. So addressing these pain points, it requires a holistic approach that prioritizes the seafarers' well-being. So improves the safety protocols, modernizes the working conditions, and provides the robust mental and physical support system. So we have here some key points again. The types, it should be sharp, dull, troubling, constant, intermittent, and crashing. Also, the locations and the scales. So next one is we have here some common types of wounds. So in maritime industry, the wounds or the lacerations are among the most common types of injuries that frequently occurring in the hands and neck or head. So these injuries, they often result on bleeding, that which can range from a minor to a life-threatening, especially with amputations or crash injuries. So here, so the common types and causes, they are the dynamic and hazardous environments of the maritime work that contributes to a high incidence of wounds and bleeding injuries. So first is we have what we call the open wounds or lacerations. So these are the most frequent type of injuries. So with a near nearly 40% of all injuries on cruise ships being lacerations. And then we have what we call the abrasions, or this is the superficial scrapes often occur on the slips or falls. Then we have what we call the amputations or the crash injuries. So as accidents, it involves a heavy machinery, cranes, winches, and cargo that can lead to a severe crash injuries and lost limbs, which involves the significant bleeding. Then, next we have what we call the puncture wounds. So this can be resolved by a sharp object like fishing hook, fish pines, or a debris. And then we have what we call the head injuries. So this is the slips, falls, or being stuck by moving objects that often result the head wounds and potential internal bleeding. And then lastly, we have what we call the internal bleeding. So this is the severe impact or a crash injuries that may cause a internal bleeding, which is serious, that often underestimated or medical emergency. Then we have here some primary causes of this common injury. So we have here usually that happens the slips, trips, and falls. So this one it might cause because of the wet floor, slippery or uneven or cluttered decks are primary cause. So it leading to a fall that results in cuts, abrasions, and sometimes fractures. We also have some machinery and equipment accident. So this one operates and operating the heavy machinery cranes and decks tool without the proper safety precaution. So by this, it can result a severe wounds or sometimes an amputation. Then I have some manual handling and physical labor. So this task involving a lifting or carrying a heavy objects that can lead to a strains but also acute injuries if control is lost. The next is the contact with hazardous object. So working with a sharp instrument and galley or around the fishing gear that can easily lead to a cuts and puncture wounds. And then lastly, the lack of training in safety protocols. So inadequate training, poor maintenance of equipment, and failure to follow safety regulations are underlying cause of many preventable accidents. And then for the quick and effective first aid for bleeding injuries that is critical, especially given the potential delay in reaching professional medical help at the sea. So first aid are very important. So we need, of course, to ensure the safety. So the first priority is to ensure the rescuers on safety before approaching the casualty. And then we're going to apply direct the pressure. So for the severe bleeding, apply a firm direct pressure to the wound using the sterile dressing or clean cloth. So if the blood soaks through and add more layer of dressing and continue pressure. Do not remove and do not remove the original dressing. And then you have to elevate the wound. So if possible, it does not interfere any applying direct pressure. Elevate the injured area above. So it should be above the heart level to help to slow down the blood flow. And then next is you need to uh, do not remove the embedded object. So for example, there's something object that's stuck or like a stab. You should not remove that any object that is using to stab the patient because stabilize the object with the bandage and apply pressure around it, not only directly on it. So to prevent the further damage and excessive bleeding. And the next step you should do is to use a tourniquet as the last resort. So, for life-threatening or uncontrollable bleeding for a limb, the commercial-made tourniquet should be used as a last resort. So, so only use a proper commercial available tourniquet if trained to do so and note that the time it was applied. So, it's also important to apply the or to remember the time that you applied. And then you need to prevent the shock. So, help the injured person lie down and cover them with a blanket. So, this one is to prevent the body heat and loss and shock. And lastly, you need to seek an immediate medical help. So, you need to call for an emergency medical services immediately, as a serious injuries may require the surgical intervention. So now, here the some things to reminder that fractures, this is the could be an open or compound, or can be closed as simple. Dislocation is the bone forced out of a joint. And then the SMCP, this is the crew member has suspected fracture. So next is about some thermal injuries or about the bones. So these thermal injuries such as burns are common in the maritime industry due to the risk like a contact with the steam, hot fluids, or heated surfaces, as well as the chemical and electrical and fire hazards. So these burns can be caused by incident in high-risk areas like the engine rooms and galleys or during the cargo operations and can be ranged from a minor to a life-threatening. So, as we all know that prevention requires the strict safety protocols. So, including the proper personal protective equipment or what we call the PPE, regular equipment maintenance, adequate training in handling hazardous materials, and high temperature processes. So I have here some list of the common causes of the terminal or thermal burns. First is the steam and hot fluids. So it often occurs in the machinery spaces like the galley or during the high temperature and tank cleaning or cargo operations. We also have here the hot surfaces. So, contact with the heated machinery, pipes, boilers, and other equipment, especially in engine rooms. And then we have here some fires and explosions. So, this one is caused by the improper handling of inflammable materials or equipped with equipment failures and leading to a severe burns. So next is we have is the chemical burns. So this one it resulting from a contact with a hazardous chemical used for cleaning, cargo, or maintenance. And then we have also some electrical burns. So this is from the working on a complex electrical system, machinery, or using the welding gear. And then we have here also some other heat sources. So this is the exposure to hot or burning solids or gases. So next one is our prevention and safety measures. So we have here, as I said earlier, the PPE. So this one is used for the appropriate gear like the heat resistant, gloves, aprons, and face shields, especially when working with hot or hazardous substances. And then we have some trainings also to ensure all crew members are properly trained in fire prevention, chemical handling, and safe work practices, especially for a high-risk operations. And then we also have some equipment maintenance. So this is the regular inspect and maintain machinery pipes and electrical systems to prevent the malfunctions and leaks. And we also have here some safe work practices. So avoid accumulating some flammable materials, handle hazardous substances, and then follow the proper procedures for every task. And then lastly is the risk management. So you need to conduct a thorough risk assessment for all operations, particularly those involving with the high temperature or hazardous materials. So those are the preventions and the safety measures. We also have here now the severity of the burns. So we have what we call the first degree. So this is the affects only the outer layer of the skin. So it can be causing by redness and pain. And then the second degree that damage the epidermis and the dermis, leading to the severe pain and longer healing times. And then the third degree. So this one, it is the penetrates through the dermis, through the deeper tissue, that which can be very painful and causes the significant scarring. So remember that we have again the types of the burns or severity of the burns. The first degree is about the redness, second degree, the blisters, and third degree is the deep or white. You can see some white part or charred like that. And then severity, so percentage of the body surface area affected, and then the SMCP. So it can you can say that the patient has a third degree burns on 15% of the body. Burn caused by the steam or hot liquids or fire. So this is how you communicate or report some incidents. Okay? So I hope you you s- I hope you know something for our discussions for today. So it's all about some key medical terminology, emergencies, terminologies as well during the uh, or
or during the emergency at the sea. So again, I would like to welcome you all and thank you for your listening to our English Maritime course on our week 42 part 2. So again, this is your instructor Elaine.